Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Optimal Wealth Podcast, where we discuss creating passive income through real estate. Our mission is to help educate investors on how to grow wealth and invest passively. My name is Jarod Alexander, and I am a passive investor, currently in 6 syndications as a limited partner. I am also the founder of Optimal Equity Group, which is a real estate investment firm that was created primarily to help educate the passive investor. We do that in a couple of different ways. One is we provide education to help give you the confidence to get into the passive investing space. And two, each episode we will interview amazing guests that explore the strategies, insights, and secrets used by successful investors. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out on your real estate journey, this podcast is designed to help give you the confidence and knowledge you need to make informed and profitable decisions. Welcome to another show of the Optimal Wealth Podcast. I am your host today, Jarod Alexander, and today I'm super excited to introduce our guest, Sophie. Sophie, welcome to the show.
Hi, first time podcast for me.
The first time, that's all right. We got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got a pretty impressive, story here. So I'm going to actually hand it over to you and let you tell, how you got into real estate and the journey before that.
Yeah. So I got into real estate in 2019 while I was running a restaurant in New York City. So I was serving, banh mi, pho, this kind of Vietnamese food, fast casual, in downtown New York City, um, around Wall Street, actually. And before that, I was a scientist. I was working for a biotech company, and that moment when I was negotiating a salary, actually, for a position in a startup, they say that they can't pay me more than $100,000 because that means like that's too expensive. And I was like, okay, we live in New York City. I, I want to survive here, but I also want to thrive, right? So that moment I decided I like, okay, that like science career is not working for me anymore. I need to pivot, right? So, and then I was owning this restaurant on the side already. Um, and then I was like, okay, maybe I use this as a thing to live on. So I quit my job. I leave off the restaurant, and I focus on learning about real estate. So I went to a lot of meetups, learned from a lot of people. I started in Oklahoma City actually, and I bought I did a lot of wholesaling. Wholesaling is a thing, right? And then fix and flip there, make like 10K, 15K. Then I bought a sixplex in Oklahoma City. It was like $30,000 per unit when I bought it. So I pay $180,000 for it. And after 18 months, I pushed the rent up um, and sold it for $45,000 per unit. So after that, I was like, what if I can do with 600 units what I just did with a sixplex? So that's interest me in, learning about apartments, multifamily and all that. So I spent time learning that in 2020, 2022, like 2 years, it's kind of hard because you can't imagine, like, especially an immigrant like me, there's no one around me doing it, right? So it's like try to find a commercial real estate group to go to. At a time I was moving to Austin, so I went to the Austin commercial real estate group, and people, there's people owning strip mall, there's people doing multifamily, there's different people doing different things, but it should open my mindset to wow, like commercial real estate is way scalable. So that's why in 2022 I started to invest in my first commercial real estate deal um, as a passive investor. And that was some apartment, like 283 units in California. And since then, in 2023, I started to invest in four more deals in Dallas, so where I live right now.
Awesome. Well, and so lots to unpack there. Sophie, I do want to just touch on, I mean, the benefits of real estate. This was what, 3 or 4 years ago, but you bought that sixplex, you said, for $30,000 a
Per
unit
unit, yeah,
per unit, right? Maybe did some renovations, right? Increased the rents. And then what, maybe not even a year later or a little over a year later, you
no, like
sold
18 months later.
18 months. You
Yeah,
sold it for 45 a door, which, just to do the math, I did it real quick. That's $90,000 profit in 18 months, right?
yeah,
Just
and and I bought it. I didn't have a down payment, so I bought it with a credit card.
wow.
So it was like a business credit card. And at the time, that strategy I just learned from one mentor. It's like he walked into this seminar with like maybe 300 credit cards and show us and like, you can buy a house with credit card. And I was like, what? Like, what is that? And then I learned that because I had a business restaurant, right? So I had a banker and a banker at Chase, and they told me, hey, you can get a business credit card for 0% down.
I was just gonna ask, so that
0%
18
for,
months was 0%, huh?
yeah, like for 18
Nice.
months, it's 0%.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay. And um and it was a cheap property, right? So it's like $180,000
Right.
for that sixplex. So I put $36,000, 20% down payment on that credit card
Wow.
and keep it for 18 months with 0% interest. And then like when I sold it, I paid up. Probably I paid up before that, but it was
So
like,
I just want to just spell that out real quick because we have, whenever people think about getting into real estate, right? You think about, all right, $180,000 property, I got to have 180,000 or 25% of that money sitting in the bank to be able to buy, put the deposit down to buy this property. Plus, you got to have the capex, right?
mm-hmm,
Which means the money for the renovations, fixing it up. And there's so many creative ways to go out and buy real estate, like Sophie just mentioned. Is she bought a 180,000 property with 20% down on a credit card, so made $90,000 in 18 months without using any of her own money, right?
yeah,
Now, maybe you may have used it maybe for some renovation costs and or some things like that, but that is that is the power of creative finance. And so, yeah, thanks for sharing that, because I mean, I think that's just so good for people to hear, because even for me, first getting started in this space, I
mm-hmm,
started with a $75,000 property, and you know, it's like you don't have to have all this money just sitting around. There's other ways to, seller financing,
mm-hmm,
sub two. That's
yeah,
that's a whole
yeah,
different
yeah,
um rabbit hole we're not going to go down right now. But anyways, there's just a lot of different ways to go out. So you had the restaurant business, and well, and so yeah, so the biotech company capped you out at 100,000. You're
mm-hmm.
you're managing a restaurant at the same time. Now, did you exit the restaurant? I, or
And then
did you
COVID hits.
COVID hit? Oh man, so yeah, that
Yeah,
put a
yeah. So
yeah,
COVID hits, and my landlord still wanted me to pay, right?
right.
And I was like, oh my God, I should want to be a landlord now.
And you're in New York at this. It's in Manhattan, right?
Yeah, in Manhattan, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I would imagine rent's not cheap there, right?
No, so but luckily, like it's okay. It's like all I lost was like the deposit, that I had, because for those months like that COVID hits, we couldn't operate, obviously. Then I negotiate with them, and then I exit. But then my partner, I had a partner. He owned 25% of the restaurant. He's still running it. So I quit. I was like, I don't see there's another um, 2 years in the future after COVID that we have profit at all. So instead of doing something for no profit, I'd rather go do something else, which I just go full time into real estate. So after COVID, I went full time into real estate. My partner at the time still running the restaurant. So the restaurant is still there in New York City. I still visit. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Do you still own a little bit in the restaurant, or does your
No, I'm
no?
I'm I'm not. I just gave it to him,
Yeah,
and very at a very reasonable price with all these equipments in there. So,
right, right.
mhm.
Nice. Awesome. Well, so yeah, all right. So yeah,
And
exited
never
the
look back.
rest.
Like it was one of the best decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, in restaurant business, I'm sure a lot of us know, I mean, it's tough to, I
It's a
mean,
tough
it's tough
business.
to be
Yeah.
profitable in that business and a lot of hours worked, I'm sure. So then you transition, all right, you get the sixplex, and then you're like, okay, then you're, the world really gets opened up into real estate and how much profitable, how much profitable that can be. So then you decide to go into the passive investing space. So I'm curious, why go right into the passive investing as a limited partner and not go out and do like a 50 unit? Was there, I mean, did you like just the idea of being passive, or what was that process like?
Yeah. So I mean, I think motivation is great, but motivation doesn't make you really act. But the pain is something that make you really act, right?
Mhm.
So passive investing is a way for me to scale up into multifamily and commercial real estate. And before that, I was doing a six flag, but I did also a lot of wholesaling, fix and flip, and I bought a bunch of rentals in Austin area. I still have 10 of them. So I have like 10 single family house rental, and I feel
And
the pain of managing them.
real quick, did you buy those with the credit card as well, or did you source
No,
the?
no,
No, okay,
no. I bought those uh off market,
okay,
direct to seller because I was doing marketing. So I bought them with really deep discount.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah, so I did BRR with that. So I
the
buy
burst
the
strategy.
half,
Yeah.
yeah, and then refinance and then do the next one.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, the burr strategy is when you buy, renovate, refinance, or buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and then repeat. Did I get that
Mhm.
right, Sophie? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So sorry. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there. So you're talking about, the pain point of managing these ten rentals, and then what?
Yeah, so it's like kind of like okay, 10 rental um and then it's also not cash flowing like crazy, you know.
Mhm.
So rental sometimes is going down as well. The rent is going down, especially when I do BRRRR, I refinance as much as I can. So basically I have very, very little cash flow and cash. Also, I don't have a lot of cash stuck in there, right?
Mhm.
But also I have little cash flow in there, and maintaining them become a job. I was
Right.
like, can I do this with 90 more to get my portfolio to 100? I cannot.
Yeah.
Reality is kind of cannot. And then I was like, okay, how can I get into commercial where I can leverage other people experience, people who professionally should managing these things, and not like me, amateur, right? Managing these units by myself. So look into that. I look to apartment investing. That's why uh, I sign up and enroll in a program like a mentorship program. in last year, March, and start to learn how to buy apartments. But I realized that everything they teach, you can do it. You can go out there and try to do it by yourself and try to get 50 units, like you say. But once you understand more, you're gonna need to really prioritize your time and what you choose to do and what you're not doing. Because if you say yes to something, you say no to something else. So
Yeah.
if I almost bought like a 32 unit property in Gonzales, Texas, which is um, between Austin and San Antonio, and kind of like a small little town. And now I feel so lucky that I didn't buy it, because then now I can partially invest that money into these deals that in the metroplex of Dallas, which is a growing population place, instead of that small little town. When it's cheap there, I can buy, but that's how population doesn't go up. The
Right.
price of the rent doesn't go up. It means that I'm gonna just sink my time into holding on to that property, try to manage it without benefit from the market, or like leverage other people's experience, don't have money to pay for professional to manage it, just like 200 unit in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
So I rather participate in a a A B location, A B class, 200 plus probably, like I do right now, than be in a C class probably and owning it myself and do
Yeah.
everything.
Right, right. No, I know. Yeah, thanks for that clarification, because I think it's important, because I think a lot of us getting into this space do want to be active, right? And single family is what most people know, and where most, I would say, majority of us start, right? And
Yeah.
like you said, it's then you start really looking at the numbers. Like for me, after I bought that first single family, it's like, okay, I'm putting this all on a spreadsheet here, and it's like I'm gonna have to buy 60 to 70 more houses to get
Yes.
to the number I want to be at, when I'm cash flow. And it just it just seems so far, and yeah, it maybe could have been doable, but you start running out of capital, you got to get creative with financing. There's a lot of different things to consider there. So, and then it's like, okay, look, start going to meetups, look at multifamily. And I like you, Sophie, I was like, okay, I want to be active and start buying these deals. Well, a lot of the bigger players like that are like Rise 48, what we were talking about, they have the broker relationships. They can get these off market deals, 200 plus, and you know, right in these hot markets like Dallas or Phoenix. And for us, we're looking on the outskirts, like in
Yeah.
these small towns for something to pencil. And you're just getting started out in this space, but they put a lot of work in. I know Zach, and I mean this.
Mm.
He's just on a podcast a few weeks ago, and we were just talking about. I mean, he's there at 7 a.m. and he doesn't leave until the last person. I mean, it takes a big commitment to the last person leaves at night from the office, right? I mean, and it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of commitment. And then again, he's built that track record, whereas a bigger operator, they can go and leverage, their relationships with the brokers, get their hands on these good deals. So, I'm with you, Sophie. That's why I started looking at the passive investing space, as far as like, the apartment syndication world. Is I can hand my money to the operator who's established in that market, has all the relationships, has the experience, has the team in place. Like Rise, they have, the property management, the in-house construction, they
Yeah.
have all these systems, where I don't have to worry about anything. I just do my due diligence on the deal,
Exactly.
right? And then next
Yeah.
thing you know, my wire over, and then 60 to 90 days later, I'm getting a distribution in my bank account, right? Probably
Yeah.
for a similar cash flow of what we were getting on a single family too, you know.
Correct. So
So
when I look at my single family portfolio, right, I make I make some money, But then like if I pay myself the amount of money that if I work for someone and I bring in a W-2, right? And it's not worth it.
Mhm.
So I'd rather invest and get an average annual return of 20%. And that is like without me doing anything.
Yeah.
And that is fantastic. Like if you really do the work, like a lot of construction, push the rent, manage tenant, and you go through all that pain, then you know that is valuable when you can get a average annual return of 20% doing nothing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then not only that, all the benefits from the tax with the depreciation, and if you do it right, again, talk to your CPA, of course, but you could pay little to no taxes on a lot of these deals if yeah, have a good CPA. So definitely not giving tax advice here. Talk to your CPA for sure, but a lot of benefits in the tax category as well. So all right, so you do the passive, and I believe so you did the passive investing, and then after that, it sounds kind of like me. You jumped into another 3 or 4 deals
Yeah. So I
right
did
away.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did once. Not right away actually. Like I did it in the December 2022,
Okay.
my
Yeah.
first deal. And then I got distracted. Okay. I got distracted in 2023, early 2023. I got distracted, sub to everything, right? Like I always look at single family deals. So that's why like they keep sending me single family deals.
Hmm.
And you kind of like have to transition out of it. And in so early 2023, I bought 2 more house, sub two, right? Like they're in foreclosure. I just rescue them, take over the loan of 2.5%. It's kind of like no brainer to do those deals.
Right.
Um, and then but also like the interest rate hike
Hmm.
at that time. So the Fed increased the interest rate. So there's not a lot of deal in the market. The market was like kind of frozen. Um, and then in August, I think at that time we went to MNatCon in Dallas, me and my husband, and some mindset coach talking, and we decided, okay, we have to really say no to single family house to be able to go into multi-family. Mostly me because my husband working full time. Yeah, he has the W-2, and I'm the real estate professional here who
Right.
gets the tax benefit.
Hmm.
So I go into multi-family full time, saying no to single family. And then at that time, I filed Rise 48 and start talking to them, uh, and we passively invest with them as well. And then I start doing fund with them. So I became fund manager for the past 3 deals with them. I invest my money in every single deal I do, and I bring in friends, families, other investor who interested. And I now live in Dallas where, all these properties are. So it's easy for me to, go check on the progress and stuff. And I feel super confident about this deal and these guys because they excellent at what they're doing. So I
Right.
feel my money is totally safe with them, and they even perform better than I do it myself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's awesome. It's an awesome concept when you spell it out like that, and like I mentioned, Zach was on the podcast a few weeks ago, and so for those that don't know, when Sophie was talking about a fund manager, what that is that's just she's helping pull investors together, to bring some capital. So the partner and Rise to help bring capital for some of these deals here. Which is actually, and if y'all listen to that episode, Zach and I were definitely talking about that. So I'll be partnering, definitely on air saying this, but I will be partnering with Zach on some future deals as well because I'm personally invested in them. Like you were saying, Sophie, like I have, I would say a good portion of my portfolio with Rise 48. And I feel confident in what they're doing. Their communications are great. I've already seen the back end of how they communicate with their investors, personally. And I love that model. And so, you know, why not partner with the experts that have the track record, over what 100 or 1.4 billion dollars, I think, under asset management currently right now. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to in their partnership. And so Sophie, are you so what's next? Is your goal just to keep partnering with groups like Zach, and we kind of talked about
Yeah.
Lone Star maybe of
Mm-hmm.
just being a fund manager? Or are you eventually wanting to break off and be a syndicator yourself, or you think you're just go the
So
fund manager route?
yeah, I kind of have a spreadsheet for myself.
Yeah.
Uh, like year one, year two, year three, year four, year five, year six,
Mhm.
until year 10, something like that, right? Because once I get into this, I was like, okay, I need to do this for another 10 years. So, and I probably should narrow down to multifamily. Um, and maybe just like the goal, the ultimate goal that I'm doing right now is every single year, I'm gonna put in passive investing around $200,000. So I'm gonna do it from year one to year five. So in year six, will be free, right? So you know the concept. Like if I put $200,000 in this year, um, in year six, we'll be having almost two times coming back, which is $200,000 coming back, but also another $200,000 as a profit. So
Mhm.
we're gonna leave off the $200,000 and reinvest the $203,000.
Yep.
That's the concept that I'm trying to practice alongside being fund manager. Um, I'm not sure whether I want to be an operator. Probably down the line. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel it right now, but I think once I get into year three, familiar with all this fund, how it works, and to be able to pull money together, then if if I don't see any excellent operator to work with, then I might jump in and say, okay, let's do it ourselves.
Yeah.
But if there's excellent operator to partner with, then I rather stay as a fund manager.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, and then that by that time you'll have a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge in the
Yeah,
business and have some more relationships there too. But
yeah.
I want to go back to that what you talked about the spreadsheet and putting the
Mm-hmm.
numbers down and investing $200,000 per year, passively, which as an LP, right,
Yep,
a limited partner.
yep.
Because I mean that's exciting. I mean, year six, yeah, you're getting a $200,000 profit, but you're doing this every year. So year seven's 200, year eight's 200. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And that just keeps compounding over
Yeah,
time. And for somebody listening, that maybe can't invest 200, per year. I mean, just even think of $50,000, right?
yeah.
Like, $50,000, just doubling that, year over year. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're close to $1 million year 10, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and then let's, remind you of the tax benefits as well. So,
You
there
defer the tax. Yeah.
you defer the tax, and on these K1s, I mean, some of y'all heard me share this on a different episode, but on a $50,000 investment that I did, I got a $30,000 loss year one, right? Now, this was when the bonus depreciation was 100%, which currently, as we're, doing this episode here in March, early 2024, it's 80% bonus depreciation. But hopefully, Sophie, there's a bill on the table right
Okay.
now that may go
Mm-hmm.
back to 100%. So
Yeah.
I'm crossing my fingers there. It's looking good, but we'll see. But anyways, yeah, not to get down that rabbit hole because yeah, politics and stuff. It's election year, so who knows what's going to happen. But
Yep.
but anyways, yeah, I mean, you get a 30,000, so that means you get to take a portion of that, that loss against your cash flow and the gains. I mean, it's super,
Yeah. It's
uh,
great.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, especially for, couples like me and my husband. So my husband have a W-2 working at a tech job. I'm a real estate professional. So whatever passive investment, so I don't need to really actively managing these rentals. and Airbnbs. Airbnb is a good tax strategy thing.
Hmm. Yep.
You can deduct some, cost sec that you want to do, but
Yep.
for us, it works perfectly because these are kind of consider active loss if you are real estate professional, and that gonna just lower our tax bracket.
Yeah. Yeah. Just huge benefits. Yeah. Very huge. And they can definitely go into those deeper in it. And yeah, Sophie, I was just racking my brain. I mean, there's so many different strategies around this too, right? Because you could be a real estate professional, which
Mm-hmm.
you're, yeah, again, going down a little rabbit hole here. But 700, I think, hours per year you have to be maintaining. But if you have own short-term rentals, there's a different strategy there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we won't get in that right now, but definitely look into that. Talk to your CPA, preferably a CPA that knows real estate and this type of investing too, because it's definitely worth it to spend a little bit more money on somebody that knows what they're doing and how to really save you taxes, because that extra 500 to $1,000 a year for doing your taxes could save you 15, 20, 30, 50,000 plus
Yeah.
dollars depending where you're at in your income there. So definitely recommend that. I want to go ahead and transition here. So we got what we like to call the fire round. And
Yeah.
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you 4 questions. And I met Sophie actually through a JDC, a coaching community. So which
Yeah.
is really tailored around mindset, helping us grow, develop, and just trying to be, the best or our best selves we can possibly be and show up each day at peak performance, right? And having a positive mindset, which is a segue into our first question here. Could you recommend a book that is particularly good for cultivating a positive mindset, and then another book for real estate investors just getting started out in this space?
Hmm. So for mindset, yeah. So Jared, like we share the JDC community, and I really thankful for that. I think like the step that I make into multifamily is important because JDC, my coach there, she walked me through vision and all of that to let me step into an identity of a multifamily investor, right? So that's how I make my first passive investment, which lead me to all of this and become fund manager. That should open my word up to this. And now, like, on my sheet of year one, year two, year three, year five, like in year six, seven, I already can see an income of $1 million, right?
Mhm.
So that is something really, really important about mindset. Mindset is everything. And one of the book I love about mindset is Outwitting, Outwitting the Devil
Mm,
by Napoleon Hill.
yeah.
And I think he's famous for a lot of books like Think and Grow Rich. But this book is just published recently. It was like kept like secret for a while, and he died a long time ago until
Mhm.
it get published. But it's really good book, and I strongly recommend to everyone. Uh, and I think like it a little mix of Zen Buddhism in there, which is I'm a Zen Buddhist person, so I like it also. But I also like amazed that like Napoleon Hill was writing this in 1940,
Mhm.
so it's like a while ago. But like these knowledge, I was like priceless.
Yeah.
So that for mindset and for real estate investing, um, if they starting out to invest in real estate, I don't know. I read so many real estate books, and I think if somebody starting out and think real estate is something else, they should think again because real estate is actually a business. So if
Yeah.
you consider real estate as a business, all the rules of business apply.
Right.
So recently I read a book called Profit First. And I think once you start to dig into profit first system, you realize that a lot of people in real estate doing real estate without paying themselves. Like I'm guilty of that. I didn't
Yeah.
pay myself for the past 5 years. I'm doing this, right? And also like you think about real estate as cash flow. No, it's not cash flowing at all. A lot of this not cash flowing at all. A lot
Right.
of this is like a business. You have to do active work to be able to generate income.
Yeah.
And that's why passive investing is amazing because there's no no work involved, right?
Right.
So like I don't recommend a real estate book because I think there's a lot of good books out there that you can try,
Yeah.
but don't forget profit first.
Profit
Is
first. Yeah.
I think I think that's the book that changed my trajectory um of my company finance.
Yeah. No, I love that. And so it's interesting because I have some meditation practices that I do and stuff, and always open to learning new things and just how I can incorporate that into my rituals here. But I just ordered the book. It's called Zen Training,
Mm-hmm.
and Cat Scooey Cicada. Does that ring a bell?
Uh,
Sekida.
mm.
I'm sure there's probably a this
You
book
know
was
Joseph Constant? Joseph
no,
Constant?
no, it's Katsuki is the first name.
Mm.
Katsuki.
Katsuki. Katsuki
Katsuki.
probably like maybe Japanese.
Yeah, I think he's Japanese there.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, anyways, I just ordered that book. So but it's about Zen training and just, um,
yeah.
yeah, just kind of, you
That's
know,
awesome that you also practice meditation.
oh yeah, it's huge benefits. Huge, yeah. I can't, Carly, I can't go a day without it, right? Just because, yeah, it's been very beneficial in my life for sure. So yeah, prayer and meditation there. But let's go ahead and go to the next question here. And great answer, by the way. I love what you talked about the book because a lot of people do just recommend a real estate book, but I do think it's important to look at it like a business, and you
Yeah,
put money back into that business as well. So profit first, everyone. Definitely check that book out there. And then um I think we covered my second question, which is what is a practical first step the audience can take to explore the space of passive investing? But I think you kind of answered that with your suggestion about the book is, look
yeah,
at it as a business, right? Have a good
right.
mindset and um, and just, take that first step. So let's go ahead and do this next question, Sophie. What is a daily habit you practice keeping you on track towards your goals?
Yeah. So so there's two things I think that is to keep my body and my mind healthy. So the thing to keep my body healthy is to go to the gym like an hour a day.
Mm,
Um, Probably I go 6 day a week
mm,
and spend like at least 15 minutes to meditate. So healthy body, healthy mind, and that that leads to everything.
yeah. I love that. So I just real quick sidebar, I just got a cold plunge not too
Ah,
long ago. I kind of got on that bandwagon, and then I got the sauna as well. So
uh-huh.
you can get kind of the pair there. Actually the cold plunge came free with the sauna, but but that's in addition to, definitely working out and stuff. But I kind of been incorporating doing my meditation in the sauna, then I'll get out, do the cold plunge, and that's got so many benefits to, focus, burning, what they call brown fat, eliminates aches and
I I
pains,
I I didn't do cold plunge, but I do cold shower.
yeah.
So I do cold shower, and then like it's kind of like wake
It
your
wakes you up.
instinct up.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
and like all your bodies are like wow waking up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
it's so funny because I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and so like they'll see me doing it, they're like, Dad, I want to do a cold plunge, and so he'll like jump in there for 30 seconds and then pop out, did a cold plunge, it's
they did it with you.
Yeah, he did. He jumped in the pool. It was a little warmer than the actual cold plunge, but it was still cold. I was proud of him. Yeah,
Yeah,
5 years
that's
old.
awesome. I have a 2 years old too,
Oh,
and he's yeah, he's amazing.
yeah, yeah. No, they're awesome. All right. Well, here's the last question here. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would that be?
Yeah, I think I want to be remembered as as a a kind person, and yeah, that's it, I
Yeah,
guess. Like like um it's a deep question.
yeah, yeah. Leaving a legacy, right? And well,
Yeah,
you got your 2 year old too. So being a kind person, leading by example there, and just
yeah,
setting him up for success too. That's a big one for me with my kids is just
yeah,
being present. I think Sophie, with doing these investments, it creates a lot more freedom to be able to be present with our kids and,
totally. Yeah,
you know,
that's the biggest goal.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because now my son is like 2 years old, right? And
hmm
in 5 years, if we financially free, um, he's 7, he go to school or not, he can just homeschool and we be able to travel more with him, experience life through
yeah,
his eyes. And
yeah,
that's our goal, my goal and my husband goal to be able to um, travel more, spend the time and not need to be tied to a corporate world.
yeah,
Um, my husband doing it right now, right? So I'm creating the equity so um, we can bank on later on
yeah,
by doing fund and of course passive investing by rolling our single family house equity into this over the years. So slowly getting rid of these single family houses and then roll them one by one into multi-family and syndication. Probably we're gonna diversify ourselves to like mobile home park, self storage,
yeah,
but nothing crazy. Just like boring,
yeah,
easy investment,
yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, and then, I think biggest takeaway today is that the best time to start, if you haven't already, is right now. Right. It's never too
Exactly.
late, and just set yourself up for success. And you don't have to wait till you're 65, right? To that till you have access to your 401k at 59 and a half to, start living life and enjoying, you know, the family and, the time with your loved ones, right? And that's kind of what Sophie and I do is just help educate others on how to participate in these investments and let their money work for them, especially busy professionals, right? A lot of people don't have time to be, active in real estate and managing these properties and stuff. So, but in 5 years, next thing you know, you could be looking at a, $100,000, $200,000, and then just keep compounding that, reinvesting it over time. You got some pretty exciting, numbers on the spreadsheet there. So, well, Sophie, this has been a great podcast. I think you did great for your first time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed getting to know you more and exciting for for the things to come in your life there and
Mhm.
and your husband and the little, your son there, which is 2 years old. Right? You said two, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So well, and if you would, before we leave, if you could tell the audience how they can learn more about you if they want to connect.
Yeah. If you would like to connect, my website is sophie.so and I'm on Facebook. It's Sophie Nguyen, MY Nguyen, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well, and of course through Zero.
Awesome. Well, and I highly encourage y'all to reach out to Sophie and connect. Like you just heard, she's in the middle of it and she's taking action too. So, pick her brain and yeah,
Happy
Sophie,
to
I
help.
think, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Happy to help anyone. who
Yeah.
wanted to get into this and want to understand how fun works. And I just gonna share whatever I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, Sophie, I'm sure we'll be connecting soon, but enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Optimal Wealth Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, be sure to optimize your results and take massive action on what you have learned here today. For more, visit optimalequitygroup.com.